Hey, I'm here today to tell you what I would do if I was interviewing for a school technology leader position. So I'm going to answer some questions for you and give you an idea of some of my strengths and weaknesses. So first, let me begin by introducing myself. I am Jessica Prey. I live in Madisonville, Louisiana, and I currently teach at Our Lady of the Lake Catholic School over here. This upcoming year, I will be a 6th grade ELA teacher who hopes to use a lot of technology in her room. I will also graduate in December from Nicholls State University with a master's degree in ed tech. Some educational trends. If you were to ask me what were the top 5 educational trends that I've seen over the past 5 years, I would say the first one would be one-to-one deployment of devices to students. I would say this is one of my weaknesses at this point, but at the end of next semester, I will hopefully be a pro with this because that's what it focuses on. So that way I'll know how to deploy all of these devices, Chromebooks and Apple devices to students because those I'll be participating in a workshop this summer on Apple devices. Another trend that I see is Google Tools for Education. This is one that I must say is a strength of mine. I feel very comfortable using the Google Tools for Education. I just came back from ISTE and I attended many workshops that told us about some of the new tools that we're going to be using in the classrooms that many of the teachers are using to make their classrooms more engaging and interactive. Another trend that I noticed while I was at ISTE, was coding in STEM. Coding in STEM is a weakness of mine, but I know that in our last class that we take in grad school that I'll be learning a lot about coding and I should feel a little bit more comfortable with it. STEM I'm a little bit more familiar with because STEM, I did a grant this summer with 3D printers and the focus was on how it can improve STEM education. Virtual reality. Virtual reality is just really fun. The students get to play with it, have a lot of fun with it. And redefining digital citizenship. I think this is very, very important that our schools focus more on digital citizenship and teaching students how to be safe and respectful citizens on the internet. Some future trends that I see occurring in the future are distant learning. I think that more distant learning is going to occur in high schools and middle schools than is already occurring. Right now, colleges are doing a really good job of offering some online classes. And I think high schools and middle schools will start doing this to offer more electives. I also see flipped learning being used more in a teacher's classroom where they are able to have students for homework, watch videos, read articles, things like that. That way they get the actual hands-on practice at school. And also it'll eliminate those parents from complaining about not being able to understand how to help their child with homework. What kind of assistive technology am I familiar with and how should it be used in the district? Well, first off, assistive technology services must be available to all students with a disability. So we have to ensure that we are providing the correct technology for that. It should be used to help teachers and students understand the information that they're understanding in the classroom. For example, at ISTE this week, I learned that you were able to press the voice tab and have the students dictate their writing through using just that command. That's an example of assistive technology. And that would be a really easy, simple assistive technology tool to use with students. So we have to make sure that we're meeting those IEPs and providing our students with the correct things and that they have access to it. What percentage of my budget should be used for these services? Well, 10% of the budget, of a technology budget, should be used for contracts and services. However, there's a lot of contracts and services for people out there. So I would only put 3% of that technology budget dedicated to assistive technology because you're going to need that other 7% to go towards other contracts and services so that the majority is still getting those services. Some useful services that I believe assistive technology provides is first access to tools. Through our training of assistive technology over the summer, I learned about all the tools that they are providing to students, which kind of just surprised me because I've been teaching for 7 years and had never heard of an assistive technology center. So it's very important that we get that out there and let others know that that is available to them. The training that is provided and can affect all. The assistive technology centers provide trainings to parents, students, and teachers on how to use the devices. And I truly believe that if all three understand how to use the device is going to be correctly used. But if they don't understand it, the device is useless in the classroom because they have not been trained properly and know its intended purpose. And they also, at assistive technology centers, give you consultations on trying to decide what assistive technology tool is the best tool. So those are some useful services that I believe assistive technology provides. So in order to be a successful classroom teacher, I believe all teachers have to be a good teacher who can inspire, hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. Brad Henry says it perfect. But in order to be a successful classroom teacher with technology, you have to be willing to try out new software and hardware. Technology changes so much just since the 2 years that I've been out of the classroom. I have seen a huge difference. That's why I'm so glad I went to ISTE so that I could see what was going on, what are the new things, what are other teachers, network with them and find out what they're using. You also have to have some basic troubleshooting experience with hardware and software. You have to know, if you're going to be using technology, you have to know how to fix the basic things so that your whole lesson's not thrown off if it's centered around technology. You have to understand how to use technology to communicate. You have to know when it's appropriate to use email. You have to know when it's appropriate for students to Skype with another class or things like that. You just don't want to use it just to use it. If I was designing, if you told me that I needed to design a professional development, what would I do to design that professional development? The first thing that I would do would be to survey faculty and staff to determine a need. I feel like I'm very strong in this. This past semester, I was able to give a professional development to a faculty that I was not on campus with. And I was able to analyze the results, figure out what they needed. Performing that needs assessment is the first step because that needs assessment told me where I needed to go next. So I had to analyze the results. Then I would present those top 3 results that I have analyzed from to the administration and decide as a team what needs to be addressed because administration might be seeing things in their observations that I'm not noticing. Another thing is that they need to develop incentives. Incentives need to be given. Gene days, free lunch periods, extra recess duty provided by someone else, just to get those teachers to participate in the professional development. Design a professional development that is flip-styled so that teachers can learn about topics at a time that's convenient to them. A lot of times teachers don't want to come to school before school to get trained or after school to stay and get trained. They have lives. They're very, very busy. So presenting some of this information flip-styled would show them that we respect their time. And then I would design the face-to-face training where the training is actually hands-on. I learn best when I have something in front of me and I'm able to create. Some others learn best by lecture. By using the flip-styled and the face-to-face with the hands-on, you're getting the best of both worlds. The teachers will be able to leave with something in return. Then I would create follow-up activities for teachers to complete to ensure that they understood the tools. There's been so many times that I've been in a training and I do it, and then I just go home and I just ignore it and I act like I don't know what the technology is. But if you provide this follow-up to them, you can ensure that they're using it to see that they've at least tried it out in their classroom. And you need to send out a professional development survey giving you, the presenter, feedback on how you did. So, if you were to give me $50,000 at my current school right now, what would I do? I would buy Promethean boards for the 6th and 7th grade teachers. They only have TVs. I would do this, the reasons being that I would justify to the board of why I would do this would be because the students have had access to these types of boards from kindergarten to 5th grade. And then they get to 6th grade and 7th grade. They don't have them. And then they have them again in high school at the local area high schools around here. They lose that chance to engage and collaborate with each other. That is a way of communication. That is something that they are used to using in their classroom. And they need to be able to access this. It also allows for you to meet different learning styles. Tactile learners can go up there and touch the board. Visual learners are able to see. So these things are able to engage your class and make them more interactive and help students learn. So how would I do this? What would I do with my money? The first thing I would do is spend 35% on hardware and 15% on software, which would be a total of $25,000. I would purchase the Promethean boards. I would make sure that I got the gold package to where everything was in there, the HDMI cables, the recorder, the tablets, the projectors, everything would be there. So I would purchase 8 of these boards at $3,120 for a total of $24,960. Then I would spend $20,000 on professional development, which would equal $10,000. I believe that professional development is essential if these tools are going to be used correctly in the classroom, just like with the assistive technology tools and getting the training for the teachers and the parents and students. There is a company here in Mandeville called AXI Education Solutions. They charge $2,500 a day to provide professional development. I would get them to come for 4 days and provide our teachers professional development on these 4 areas: the Active Panel, the Active Touch, Active Inspire software, and ClassFlow, which is the new tool that they just put out there for the Promethean boards. Contracts and services would be $10,000. I would have our men's club. They're always looking for fundraisers and things to do to build money for their club. I would have them install the Promethean boards, give them a service project, and give them for 5 days of installation $1,000 a day, because it's going to take a couple of men to go ahead and put that together. Other needs and upgrades: we do have a broken Promethean board in a 3rd grade teacher's classroom at our school. So I would purchase one of a new Promethean board for that teacher for a total of $3,120. And the last thing that I would provide in my budget is maintenance and support, which would be 10%, which is $5,000, and save that $5,000 for any maintenance and support that would be needed throughout the school year to fix these boards in case something were to occur. That is all I have for you today. I have enjoyed interviewing with you and hope to hear back from you soon. Have a good night.